daughter cut the brake lines on all the school buses. I'm the proudest mom ever. I got called to the police station at 6 a.m. because my 11-year-old Mia had destroyed all 3 district buses with bolt cutters she'd taken from my garage. When I arrived at the station, Mia was sitting in the chief's office with grease under her fingernails from the brake fluid. The principal was there screaming about expulsion and pressing criminal charges while our longtime bus driver, Mr. Wilson, stood by the door shaking his head in disappointment. I can't believe sweet little Mia would do this, Mr. Wilson said, putting on his concerned grandfather act. Such a good girl usually. I've driven her since kindergarten, given her candy on her birthday. Now the whole 5th grade misses their mountain field trip because of her vandalism. The depot manager showed photos on his phone of cut brake lines dripping fluid. This is $200,000 in damages. Someone has to pay for this destruction. Mia, what did you do? I asked, feeling sick that my quiet daughter who helps me in my mechanic shop every weekend had done something so destructive. I stopped Mr. Wilson from killing 30 kids, Mia said, staring straight at him. The room went completely silent. Mr. Wilson laughed, but it sounded nervous and forced. Kids say the craziest things when they're in trouble. She's obviously making up stories to avoid consequences. You drink vodka every morning before driving us to school, Mia said clearly. My stomach dropped to the floor while the principal said that was a very serious accusation to make. I see him filling his thermos from a vodka bottle in his truck, Mia continued. Every single morning for months. He parks behind the depot thinking nobody can see him, but I walk past there to school. That's something you should have told adults immediately, the chief said sternly. I told the principal last month. He said I was mistaken, and Mr. Wilson just drank strong coffee. The principal's face went red. You couldn't have been sure what you saw from that distance. I know what vodka bottles look like. Mom keeps them in the garage to clean engine parts. I help her every weekend. This was true because I'd taught her that trick for degreasing. My hands were shaking thinking about my daughter and son on a bus with a drunk driver every single morning for months. All those mornings I'd waved goodbye as she got on that bus trusting she was safe. I said, Mia, why didn't you tell me? She just looked at me and said, I didn't want to bother you when you're really busy at work, and my heart broke. She's obviously lying to save herself, Mr. Wilson said, but sweat was dripping down his face now. I have videos, Mia said, pulling out her phone. Here's you drinking in your truck yesterday morning. Here's you stumbling to the bus last week. Here's you swerving into oncoming traffic Tuesday with kids screaming in the back. The chief took her phone and his face went pale watching the footage. Jesus Christ, this is from 3 days ago. He's clearly intoxicated with children on board. I wanted to vomit right there. These videos don't prove anything, Mr. Wilson said desperately, his voice getting higher. And there's something else too, Mia said. Everyone stared at her. She showed us the weather alert on her phone from last night. Flash freeze overnight with black ice warnings for all mountain roads. The field trip was still scheduled. Today's route goes straight down Devil's Pass. It has 30-degree grades and turns that kill sober drivers. With black ice everywhere and Mr. Wilson drunk, our bus would go straight off the cliff. My little brother and 29 other kids would die today. That's pure speculation, the principal said weakly, but he was staring at Mr. Wilson now. Yesterday I heard Mr. Wilson tell another driver he wasn't canceling for the bad weather because he needed the overtime pay. He said he'd driven drunk in worse conditions and kids bounce anyway. The chief stood up from his desk. Mr. Wilson, I need you to take a breathalyzer test right now. This is ridiculous harassment, Wilson said, but he was already backing toward the door. Now, the chief commanded. Wilson blew 3 times the legal limit at 7 in the morning. When they searched his truck, they found 3 empty vodka bottles under the seat and a half-empty one in the door panel. I felt rage I'd never experienced in my life. This man had been trusted with our children's lives. You drove my babies drunk every single day for months? I waved to you every morning. 30 years driving without a single accident, Wilson slurred, swaying on his feet now. You could have killed them, I screamed. Every morning I put them on your bus, trusting you. The depot manager was already on his phone. The buses need special parts from the manufacturer. They're out for a week minimum, and you're fired immediately, Wilson. Wilson turned on Mia with pure hatred in his bloodshot eyes. You little brat ruined everything. I needed this job for my bills. You were going to kill us today, Mia said simply. That's when Wilson lunged at my 11-year-old daughter, moving faster than any of us expected from someone that drunk. Full story.